In today's video, I'm going to give you 3 ETFs to combine with Yieldmax to get both dividends and growth to outperform the market indexes. These ETFs will help offset quote-unquote erosion from Yieldmax ETFs as well. I'm also going to Vegas tomorrow for the ETF conference, the largest in the world apparently, which Granite Shares invited me to, so stay tuned for more videos on that. We'll see what we can dig up about these latest ETFs there. Yieldmax helps me earn over $600,000 per year in dividends, as you can see below, and we're outperforming all of the indexes with Yieldmax and margin. We're down only 6% for the year. The S&P is down over 6% for the year, and the Nasdaq's down 11% for the year. So even with using over $500,000 of margin leverage, we're still outperforming the market even during the recent downturn. Most people thought I was going to be in a margin call by this time, but as you can see, we have more than enough available withdrawal to withstand a margin call. And again, we're still outperforming the indexes, living financially free out of our brokerage accounts. If you need help doing the same, email me for my e-guides at akintod48@gmail.com. We're living the FIRE lifestyle here, which means financially independent, retire early, and I can just use all of my equity out of my E-Trade brokerage account to live freely out of this account. I don't need a 9-to-5. I can just use my E-Trade card and swipe it and go wherever I want in this world. You can buy cars, clothes, shoes, whatever you want with your margin, okay? I just swipe my E-Trade card, I buy whatever I want, and then my dividends pay that back at the end of the month. It's really the best profession to have, in my opinion. I mean, I think dividends are more stable than a job because you never know if your job security is a sure thing, but dividends are always a sure thing, especially from 4-star funds like we own in our portfolio. I'm not worried about this margin interest because I've negotiated my rates down twice. Many of my clients who bought my e-guides did the same thing. I'm also not worried about the leverage because my dividends of over $600,000 per year will pay back my margin leverage in less than 1 year. So I'm never going to reach a margin call if we keep paying back our debt at such a fast rate. Yieldmax helps me snowball my dividends so fast to where my margin is paid down so quickly, and that therefore eliminates a lot of the risk that I'm using with margin. Just stay indexed. And I have 3 funds today that are going to help you get more performance, okay? Because we're going to get more days gains and dividends because of these funds, okay? We made $23,000 today, but what's important is we're up 1.53%. If you look above, that beat all of the indexes. When you factor back in my margin, we blew away the indexes. But again, in a down market, we didn't fall by as much as the indexes. That's because you have to have a unique blend of these ETFs, and I'll give you 3 new ETFs that I'm buying for my portfolio now. All right, first up we have MTUM, okay, MTUM. This is a momentum ETF, and it's one of my favorites because not only has it pulled back big on its chart, and you rarely get opportunities like this, but we've gotten to the 200-day moving average, okay? We poked above the 200-day moving average, and MTUM is 30% maintenance, okay? So MTUM is preserving most of my equity since it's 30% maintenance, and therefore I don't get close to a margin call because my equity levels are so high. If you need help understanding maintenance, that's in my Volume 3 e-guide. Maintenance is the entire key to what I do here because for every $1 you put in your account, you get $4 of purchasing power. People always ask me, why do you say 4 times margin if we only get 2 times at our broker? Well, at E-Trade, if you have over $25,000 in your account, you get times 4 margin. And then people always ask me, well, why do you mention that if you're never going to use it all? Well, on some rare occasions, I have used most of my margin power, like during the 2020 Corona times, but most of the time I don't want to use most of my margin power because I want to, again, keep my available withdrawal high. And so that's the advantage to having all this purchasing power. It's not necessarily so that you use it, it's so that you keep high available withdrawal so you never have to worry about a margin call. We can withstand over 20% corrections, as I always say in my portfolio, because we have these low maintenance names like MTUM. So MTUM poked above the 200-day moving average. It has 30% maintenance, and look at the holdings of MTUM, okay? It has all the best holdings in it, all the top index names. Here it is. We have Walmart, JPM, Avgo, Meta, Nvidia, Visa, Tesla, Palantir. But if you go look at each of these holdings in this ETF, you'll find that they are some of the top weighted holdings in the indexes, okay? So if you want to get more indexed exposure to offset Yieldmax decay, you want to buy funds like MTUM on the massive dip, and you get 30% maintenance here, which means you're preserving most of your equity in the process. Again, if you need help understanding maintenance, that's in my Volume 3 e-guide. Yieldmax is 50% maintenance most times, okay? So you have to combine it with funds like MTUM that move up or left or right on their charts and that have low maintenance so that you preserve your equity and you offset that decay from Yieldmax. You can go to other brokers with lower maintenance for Yieldmax, but they might not have that special drip for Cornerstone. And also, you don't want to just use more margin leverage because you have lower maintenance. That's how you're going to get in trouble in a downturn, okay? You don't want to have too much leverage on no matter the maintenance, okay? All right, second, we have USA. All right, USA also pulled back big on its chart, pretty much fully diversified. It is the index, and USA is our index play that gives us about a 10% dividend that doesn't decay, and it also has 30% maintenance. Okay, so I like USA because, again, it moves upper left to right on its chart, something that Yieldmax doesn't do. It's the index, so you're going to get more index performance by buying USA, and it's going to pay you qualifying income in the process. Okay, it's going to give you a 10% dividend that pays your bills. All of my bills are automated out of my E-Trade account, and then these dividends also qualify to banks for loans, so that's how you live free from 9 to 5. You have to have either a pay stub or dividends if you want to live free from 9 to 5. If you want to qualify for a house or a car, again, you have to have a pay stub or dividends. Stock gains are too up and down after all, and traders statistically can't beat the market over time. Okay, 90% of traders lose over time, so you need dividends to not only beat the indexes, you have to buy the indexes, buy indexes with dividends, and then these dividends qualify you to banks for loans. That's how you, again, live free from 9 to 5. USA is one of my favorite vehicles to do that with, and you can box USA around the quarterly dividend dates. You can box USA, lower your maintenance to 5%, and then not have to worry about paying that dividend each month because it's a quarterly dividend payer. All right, so I've been buying USA, I've been buying MTUM, I've been alerting all of my members in my live videos. All right, so I love USA. I'm recommending USA right now over Cornerstone because Cornerstone is going through its rights offering period. As y'all know, we had the N2 filing. I alerted all of my members on Discord. When you buy my e-guide, you get free access to Discord for life, where we alert you of the Cornerstone rights offering announcement. Cornerstone is one of the largest holdings in my portfolio because it's indexed and it's a 4-star fund, and it gives you a 20% dividend, and it drips that dividend down at the NAV for 22% gains every month. I've seen premiums in Cornerstone go as high as 45% with Cornerstone. So you get days gains with Cornerstone, you get the dividends 20%, and you get the drips at NAV every month on top of the dividend. USA also has rights offerings, so use these to your advantage. Okay, Cornerstone, USA, many closed-end funds have rights offerings. They tell you when to buy, they tell you when to sell, so you can pocket all those dividends, all those premiums, get out at the highs when they tell you to, and then you reload at the lows. That's how I leveled up my account. That's how I got to over $1 million in my account since Corona. I had about 15,000 in my account during Corona, as y'all know, and then I used all of my leverage. I used loans from my dividends, and then I used Cornerstone to bounce all the way back, and I didn't even have the special drip on for Cornerstone at that time. Okay, I just got really high premiums. We got 100% gain in Cornerstone from the lows. We're getting those dividends, and we had the rights offering, which told me when to sell, told me when to buy, and I really, again, leveled up my account through Cornerstone. If you need help playing closed-end funds like Cornerstone around their rights offerings, that's, again, in my Volume 4 e-guide. All right, last but not least, we have UPRO, okay? UPRO is one of my favorites, all right? It's one of my original vehicles that got me to 100,000, okay? So when I started out in my account about 20 years ago, I had $2,000. I used loans, I used all kinds of things, jobs, okay? I did whatever I had to do to put more money in my E-Trade account, and then I bought UPRO, which took me to over 100,000 in my market value. And then I was using UPRO to get ahead for many years, but the banks didn't take UPRO for qualifying income. So that's when I had a repentance of sorts. And the dictionary, repentance means to have a radical change of mind. I didn't know that when we're referring to the Bible. I didn't know that repentance meant to change your mind, follow the truth, follow your principles. Well, I'm following the indexes, which is the highest principle you can use when you're investing. And then I buy 4-star funds like Cornerstone, which is also one of the highest principles you can use with investing. And then I'm getting dividends with these vehicles, which give me qualifying income to banks for loans. That's how you truly live free. And that's one of the strongest principles that I've built my channel on, okay? UPRO does not give you qualifying income, but it gives you those days gains you so desperately need. It was up 3% today, and the NASDAQ was up only 1.41%. So you want UPRO and leverage vehicles like UPRO, SPXL. These are S&P related vehicles, and therefore when tech has a rolling correction and you see tech pull back, but maybe the Dow and S&P hold up better, you're going to get better performance out of UPRO, okay? During this recent down market, I was pounding the table on some of these stocks that were really working well during that correction, okay? We had staples up, aerospace and defense, healthcare, and you can't really get that exposure through the NASDAQ. You had to be in the S&P to get that other exposure. All right, not only do I buy UPRO, but I sell puts on UPRO and the triple leverage indexes, just like what Granite Shares does. I've done videos about how they sell options on their triple leverage ETFs, while I also sell options on UPRO, Soxel, TNA, Bitcoin, and they lowered my margin by about $100,000. They also lowered my risk because when you get these really high premiums from selling these options, which you get this cash immediately when you sell your option, well, they lower your cost basis significantly because these premiums are so large that they're actually giving you a really really big cushion from a fall. And if you were to get assigned at the lows in these triple long ETFs, then you're going to make more money on the capital gain side. Okay, so if you don't get assigned at the lows, then you're just going to collect all these premiums, which lowers your margin and your cost basis and your risk and your volatility, because I like to sell leaps with my options, so it lowers my volatility. You're going to get all of those benefits when you sell options, but you're also going to get more index performance because these move up on up days. As you can see here in my days gains column, we made a few $1,000s just from selling these put options. And again, they're really low risk because the cost basis is so low. Don't be daunted by selling put options. So I buy put options to give me insurance in the event of a crash, and I sell put options to lower my margin. If you need help selling put options, that's in my volume 6 e-guide. And if you need help buying put options to hedge your account in the event of a crash, that's in my volume 5 e-guide. All right, so we're outperforming all of the indexes using Yieldmax and margin, and you can do this too. Just play by the rules. Make sure you're watching your maintenance. Make sure you're staying indexed. Email me for my e-guides at akintodd48@gmail.com if you need help living financially free out of your brokerage accounts using margin and dividends. When you buy my e-guides, you get free access to Discord for life once again, and you get my phone number for life, so please keep this in mind. All right, don't forget, we're going to be heading to Vegas, so stay tuned for those latest updates that I find out at that conference, and I'll talk to you soon, everyone. Thanks.